Did you grow up with a lot of parties in Mexico?
What?
Did you have a lot of parties in Mexico when you were growing up?
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. There they went every night.
Every night?
Yeah.
What would you do every night? Dance?
Every night they had parties.
Yeah. At people's houses?
Huh?
At people's houses?
Yeah. They always had 10 or 12 people for dinner
Oh, really?
and drinks, yeah.
How fun. When did you start drinking?
Yeah,
When you were
people
12?
in Mexico don't just sit back and do nothing.
Right.
They got a maid, so what the hell?
Right. They could make as many dinner
Yeah.
parties as they wanted.
Nothing
Yeah.
to keep them from having company every night if they want to.
So, did you have parties at your house?
No, I never had a house. Oh, yeah. When we were kids.
Yeah.
No, we didn't have parties. My father just brought people in for dinner every night.
Oh. But what
Anybody-
about kids your age? Did you
What?
not have parties with kids your age?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but I went to their parties.
Oh. Why? Did Grandma scare
What
them
is
off?
this? Go away.
Did Grandma scare everybody off?
Huh?
Did Grandma scare everybody off?
Oh, no.
Oh.
She liked company. She always cooked and baked.
Uh-huh.
She was always cooking and baking.
Yes. So why didn't you have friends over?
Huh?
So why didn't you have friends over if she always was cooking and baking? You said you went to other people's houses.
Yes, not often. Mostly they liked to have them at their house.
Oh.
My father go down the park and bring home a bunch of people. And the minute he walked in the door, I walked out the back door. I knew I better get to the bakery quick.
Oh, really?
That was my job.
Oh.
I'd run to the bakery and bring in the bread or the whatever my mother told me.
Uh-huh. And Herbie's job?
I brought in bizcochos.
Oh, yum.
What?
What was Herbie's job?
To watch the maid and tell her my mother told me to watch her. So dumb.
And what about Eugene? What was his job?
He hid under the bed and looked at the women's skirts. He was horrible.
But Murray didn't do either of
I
those.
know, he just curled his hair.
He curled his hair. So you were allowed to go to the bakery by yourself?
Huh?
You were allowed to go to the bakery by yourself?
Yeah, in the daytime, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. But I was already, 12 years old? 13 years old. Yeah, I could go to in the daytime I could.
Yeah. And so your papa just liked to talk a lot, huh? Yeah. So
my father would pick up all the strays and say, "You want to have lunch?" Come on.
Did he have any criteria, like they had to have showered in the last month?
Oh yeah, people there did. I mean,
He did.
it wasn't a problem.
Oh.
It wasn't a problem at all. And my father walked in the front door and I walked out the back door.
To hide?
No, go to the bakery.
To go to the bakery.
You know, my mother wasn't always ready for him.
Right.
And she never knew what stragglers would be home.
So how many maids did you have at one time?
Huh?
How many maids did you have at one time? too, every day?
Yeah, sleep.
Oh, they'd sleep in the house? Oh,
They had every apartment building had maids' quarters up on the roof.
oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Did you live in an apartment?
Every house had maids' quarters.
Oh.
Everybody did.
Oh,
Had maids' quarters.
on the roof? Out in the weather?
The roofs were flat roofs.
Oh,
And then they did the laundry, did white sheets, and they lay them out on the roof on the sun to bleach.
oh,
And then they'd wash them and hang them on lines on the roof.
oh. I remember Grandma hanging laundry out.
We didn't have dryers and washers. We had maids. My mother had another one that came in 2 days a week just to do laundry. She'd come in Mondays and wash, and Tuesdays iron all day long.
Oh, wow. Nice.
It was.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's why when she first moved to New York, she hated it.
Uh-huh.
All of a sudden, she had to do it all herself.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that she had a washer and dryer, that didn't count.
Well, it was in the basement, wasn't it? Yeah.
In Mexico, there was no basements, no.
Right. Right, I guess because of earthquakes, it didn't make,
Huh?
because of earthquakes, it didn't make sense to have basements.
No.
And it was rock, probably.
Yeah, because there were hurricanes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
There were earthquakes,
Earthquakes.
terrible earthquakes. I remember some of them.
Really?
I remember I was 14 years old, and I'd taken Helen in the buggy to the park. And all of a sudden I felt myself, so I
Really?
held on to a tree, and the tree went,
Oh, really?
it stopped after a couple of minutes. Lucky, because I didn't know what to do. I was out there by myself.
Whoa. So Helen didn't roll away in her buggy? Helen didn't roll away in her buggy?
No, just buildings came down.
Oh, wow.
It was so awful.
Oh
I
my
remember
God.
one time Eugene had something contagious. He was like 2 or 3 years old, and he had something contagious, so they had to get us away from the house. So we went to my mother's good friend, me and Herbert and Murray, and she had not a hide-a-bed, one of the, like a trunk bed that you
A
open.
trundle?
Yeah, and so we slept on that in the living room. And then there was an earthquake that night.
Whoa.
And we went down in the morning to go to school, and the whole side of a building had fallen in. It was a bedroom.
Oh my goodness.
All the bedrooms. Could see a bed hanging from the, oh my God, it was a real disaster that time.
Wow.
So many people died.
Oh my God. Weren't you scared?
What?
Weren't you scared?
Yeah, well, no, after it happened.
Right. But then you'd think, well, there's going to be another one soon.
What?
Didn't you think there would be another one soon?
No, they didn't come one after the other. It was far and in between.
Uh-huh.
Once it passed, it passed.
Yeah.
But they were scary.
I bet
Once
they
I
were.
knew what had happened, yeah, it was scary when we had another one.
Yeah.
So when we left Mexico, that I didn't miss.
I bet not. What did you miss about Mexico?
I didn't miss that at all.
What did you miss about Mexico?
Huh?
Did you miss anything about Mexico?
The maids.
The maids.
My
Yeah.
mother did too.
They were just
So
happy
that's
to.
when my father went down there
Uh-huh.
and brought back Mercedes.
Oh yeah.
But it was very hard to do.
To get.
They had to post a bond
Oh really?
with the government. And then they had to open a bank account, and her pay was deposited every month in the bank.
Uh-huh.
So, and she had to get shots and all kinds of things, you know.
Right.
And then it only lasted a year. Then you had to do it all over again.
Oy.
The only problem is that after he brought her,
Uh-huh.
she had all this money. And her boyfriend smelled it.
Oh, really?
So that was the end of her.
Uh,
And my mother said, nah, she didn't want to get started again.
right.
So she forgot about the maids.
Well, now you could probably just drive down to Texas and find somebody.
Yeah.
You don't have to do any
By then she'd
paperwork.
gotten used to,
Right.
you know, get her little cart and walk to Flatbush Avenue and go
Uh-huh.
to the stores.
Uh-huh. I remember her doing that.
Yeah.
She walked like Kara.
She'd go to Flatbush Avenue.
Uh-huh.
She couldn't buy oranges by the gross. My father used to buy oranges by the gross.
Really?
144 pieces. Because my mother made juice every morning for all of us.
Oh, wow.
That I missed.
Oh,
I
wow.
still do. I taste an orange and I think of the juice. I had a glass of fresh orange
squeezed.
juice.
Took you back.
Fresh squeezed orange juice every morning.
Mm.
And then he had a secretary in his office, and he'd send me with her, and we'd go to the market. His store was a few blocks away from the market, and I'd go with her, and we'd buy a case of mangoes, and a case of American pears imported, and a case of apples, and we'd hire a young guy there to carry it all back to the store.
To the house.
And then when my father closed the store,
Oh, to the store.
we would take a cab and I'd go with him and we'd go home.
Uh-huh. What kind of store was it?
Textile,
Was it
textile,
equipment?
what?
Equipment?
Yeah, for machines, you know.
Uh-huh.
Because he'd come here and buy factories. And they would dismantle them and put them on a train. Then he'd take the trains back to Mexico.
Uh-huh.
So during the war, you couldn't get trains because they were for the soldiers.
Right.
So he had to go to Washington, and he had a lot of lawyer friends that he had gone to law school with. And so he knew a lot of them in Washington. So they'd get him a train.
Really?
And he'd get the stuff loaded and he'd take it to Mexico. And he'd sell it to the, not Arabs, they were, we call them Arabs. They were, you know, what are some of the countries in Africa?
In Africa? I don't know. Libya, Sudan.
Iran, and
Iran's in Asia.
What?
Iran's in Asia. You mean the Persians?
yeah, there was a lot of those Arab, and there were a lot of those Arab people in Mexico.
Uh-huh.
And they would buy the things and set up factories. And they all had lace factories and all kinds of factories.
Right.
And my father would sell them the parts. After something broke down, he would sell the parts to them.
Uh-huh.
And then he decided, well, why doesn't he put up a factory of his own, you know? He's making everybody else rich.
Uh-huh.
So he did. So he set up, actually they had wool factories where they made those blankets
Uh-huh.
and the serapes and stuff like that. So he put up a factory for lace.
Oh.
And they made all this lace for curtains and
Uh-huh.
it was, and he had a Mexican partner, a nice man, who took care of the factory.
Right.
And then my brother Herbert lost it all.
Takes a lot of talent.
He neglected it.
Now Herbie could be
What?
president. Now Herbie could be president.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he left him there in charge. And Yvette would send him to buy chickens in the morning and take it to his mother. And here, he's got business, he's got appointments. People need parts for their machines. So he bankrupted the business.
Mm.
My father was a multi-millionaire.
Mm.
That's why we could travel back and forth and do all these things and
Mm-hmm.
have nice houses. And when we lived in New York and we'd go there for the summer, he'd rent these real nice apartments, you know, with the windows and these gorgeous curtains.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was in Hollywood.
Really?
It was great. I'd have all these dates. One Sunday, 3 days.
Oh God, Mom, good job.
I did. And I was on one date and I kept looking at my watch and telling him, I gotta get home.
Funny.
And I had 3 dates that night. I can't believe. And after we were ready to go home, my father says, I don't know why I brought you. I didn't see you. I had a ball. I really did.
Yeah,
When I was 18, 19, I had a good time.
that's good.
You know that little fur pillow I had?
Uh-huh.
You remember I had? So
You
there
still
was.
have it, don't you?
No, somebody took it. I don't know where it is.
Oh.
Anyway, when they moved me, everything disappeared. I don't know.
I'll see
Anyway.
if somebody knows.
So I dated this boy whose father was who had a coat place, you know, made all kinds of fur coats. And he brought me that pillow one day. He said, you marry me, you can have a coat of each one of these furs. But I didn't marry him, I married Jack. So,
Mm.
but I had a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I was dating a guy who was a doctor.
Hi there.
Hello, nose spray,
Okay.
moisture, nose moisture time. How's your brother and your, I guess your
My-
nephew?
My sister and nephew,
And
yeah,
your
they're
sister?
doing fine. They're in good shape.
Okay, after all the sickness is over?
Yeah,
Did
They-
your brother get it very bad?
my sister.
Just your
Had
sister?
it,
She had
yeah.
it pretty bad,
She went to the hospital and they treated her and
but then she went home and
yeah, she's out
recuperated.
walking now and doing stuff.
Did they
and
give her that remdesivir?
I don't know what they gave her.
Okay, I heard that is a go-to thing to help them not do as poorly,
Uh-huh,
you know, especially if they weren't vaccinated, you know.
uh-huh.
Okay, well, here you go.
That could be what she got.
So she's doing okay now, huh?
Uh-huh. Yeah,
How's she doing with everything that happened?
she's fine. She just,
She's a strong woman.
yeah. She's decided.
She's responsible for 13 of my great-grandchildren.
She had 13 kids?
She has 13 grandchildren.
Oh,
Me.
Oh, you had 13
They're
grandkids.
my
Right.
great-grandchildren.
And how many kids did you have?
4 daughters.
Oh my,
yeah,
that's a lot. I'm glad I just had 2.
it is a lot.
My daughter, she's raising her 3 kids by herself.
Yeah, it's not fun.
She tells me it's rough. I help her. I try to help her as much as possible,
Mm-hmm.
but there's only so much I can do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well,
Vicky, this is trash.
Okay.
she'll manage.
She's a trooper. I'm telling you, she does so much.
Yeah.
I don't know sometimes how she can do so much like she does. I mean, she even put her flooring in her living room.
Wow, that's
She-
amazing.
she's